Hey everyone, Lotus here. I think it's about time I gave you a next game reveal. Let's see what it is we're going to tackle next. This is something I've actually been really hyped about ever since I first saw trailers for it, I want to say years ago. I think I saw trailers for what I assumed to be this game back on the PS3, but of course it didn't end up happening. I think, if this is the same game I'm thinking of, it kept getting delayed and was finally released on the PS4 and Steam, and I forgot if it's on the Xbox One, but it's certainly in the current gen of consoles. We're going to be taking a look at Little Nightmares. This game looks just gorgeous. See, at this point I've played... I guess I would call this a horror game. At this point I've played horror games from America, Japan, South Korea, and Indonesia, possibly even some more. This time, though, the game we're looking at comes from Sweden, and oh man, the aesthetic on this game is just gorgeous. See, the gameplay reminds me of Insider Limbo, to the point where I actually thought the same studio made it. The answer is no, but I could see how it might have been inspired by those, but the look, I can't really convey the look with the box. This is something... This is a reference I'm not sure everyone's going to understand. This might just be an American thing, I don't know, but several years back, we had this commercial for tissues called Puffs, and the commercial was done, I don't know if it was claymation, but it was some kind of stop motion. It reminded me kind of the Rankin Bass Christmas productions, but of a higher quality. Things look a little smoother and less like puppets. This was the commercial that said, "A nose in need deserves puffs indeed." You probably can YouTube that commercial. If you can't, you might consider looking up the possibly clay or stop motion video made by the person who did the Puffs commercial called Sandman. It's certainly creepier. But this game, it really looks like the Puffs commercial. Just the not the character design, but again, the general aesthetic, there's something about it. Everything in this game looks like you're in... it's hard to describe, because part of it is this industrial nightmare, but whenever you get into a place where it looks like people actually live, it looks like you're a doll in a toy chest. Every character in the game who is not you is a giant, which means that we actually just might be small. I don't know. But they try to snatch us up and eat us. It's pretty intense. There isn't too much story to be had with this game. What little you can get is really from the game's own website, Little Nightmares, little-nightmares.com, where we find this ship that comes up from underwater. You never know where. It's in a different place each time, like the castle from Krull, because there's a reference you understand, and it's called the Maw, and I don't remember, or maybe I don't even know why our character goes into it, but she does, and now we're here, and we're really trying to leave, because this place sucks. I mean, the game is gorgeous, but everything wants us dead, and it's freaky. This is a short game. It's only going to be 5 installments long, as there are 5 levels. And, in fact, there's even an achievement that you can get for beating the game in under 90 minutes without dying. It's not easy to do it without dying, but I can buy the time. I can see that happening. But we're going to get our time's worth because we take care to look at our surroundings and everything. I'm not doing this as a speed run. And speaking of it's not just me. I'm playing this game with my good friend Mr. Ryu, so you're going to have some dual commentary on seeing just what this game is like, as well as him making fun of my gameplay. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, 2 things I should mention that I find to be interesting. This game has only 5 levels. Our main character, though, our character we play as, is named Six, which I find to be a rather strange and interesting name. You might find some significance in that as you play the game. Ooh, I lied. I said 2 pieces of information. I have 3, so now there's 2 more for real. I should also mention this game does have DLC, and one piece of it was actually released pretty recently. but I'm not going to do that in this Let's Play. I would love to explore it later, but I want to wait for all the DLC to play out, because it looks like it's a completely different campaign with a different character. So I want to see where that goes when it's all out. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, hey, guess what, guys? DLC's out, and I play for like 20 minutes. Well, that was it. So I'm going to wait for all of it to release. I'll find out when it does. The last thing I want to mention is that this game is called Little Nightmares. I assume that the name was changed so it kind of sounds more like what the game's aesthetic represents. If you go on the shelf and you see a game called Little Nightmares, you're like, oh, it's a scary game then. But from what I've heard, even though it would have also been an appropriate title, it might have sounded vague to people who don't know. You know, like Resident Evil's name in Japan is Biohazard, but if we saw the name Biohazard on store shelves, we'd be like, what is this, a game where you're on radioactive cleanup duty? I don't know. So Resident Evil just sounded scarier. So Little Nightmares, I feel, is what they went with for that purpose. But this game's original working title, I've heard, was Hunger. Let's see if you can figure out why that might have been. You're going to have an interesting time with that, I think. So expect this game up in 3 or 4 days for patrons, and about a week after that for the general public, and trust me, this game is short, but it is sweet. Get hyped. Until next time, everyone.